Hi, and welcome to this edition of Maverick Sports. I can't believe that we're already at the end of February. Well, that means only one thing. Spring break is just 2 weeks away. But on the serious side of things, here's a look at what's on tap for today's show. We have an in-studio interview with head coach of the North Central Conference champion swimming and diving team, UNO's Todd Samlin. We'll also take a look at men's and women's hoops, hockey, wrestling, track, tennis, and baseball. And not only that, but we have reports from several UNO broadcasting students on what's going on in Maverick athletics. First up is the Maverick women's basketball team. Since the last time we met, Patty Patton Shearer's crew has hit some tough times. After sitting at 14-1, the best start in UNO women's basketball history, the Mavericks are now at 17-10, having dropped 9 of their last 13, including 4 of their last 5. They snapped a 4-game losing streak with a win over Minnesota Duluth in the Fieldhouse on Thursday, February 28th. Always looking for bright spots even when it's not so good, we point to Alyssa Green. The sophomore guard made the North Central Conference all-academic team. She not only averages 14 points a game with 54 steals, the biology major owns a 3.70 grade point average. Alyssa also had a game-high 17 points in Thursday night's win. Let's take a look back at how things have gone since our last show. Here you see they won out of the chute in February, then they dropped 4 in a row until they came back with that win against Minnesota Duluth on Thursday, as we talked about, 65-57. There's a look at the North Central Conference standings. Amazingly, the Mavericks sit at 3-8 after we said they started out 14-1. And now they find themselves 5 games under 500 in the North Central Conference. Well, the men's basketball team has had a great February, meanwhile. They've won 5 of 6 games and played, and they've included a 3-game win streak. Beginning the month, Darren Hanson's group is 21-5. They rank 5th in NCAA Division II. And the Mavs' latest win, Denny Johnston, who was named the third NCC third all-academic team, led UNO with 22 points. He had 13 of those in the second half. He canned 9 of 12 shots, including 4 of 6 from three-point range. Michael Jenkins chipped in with 19 points. He hit on 3 three-pointers, while Jerry Bennett had a game-high 10 rebounds. Now the Mavericks blistered the Nets at 62% shooting in the second half. Another bright spot since our last show, freshman Mitch Albers from Papillion La Vista was named North Central Conference Player of the Week on February 25th. He had 19 of his 25 points in the second half. The former Monarch hit on 7 of 10 field goals and went 9 of 10 from the line. And here's what the men's basketball team has been doing since we last met. There's that 3-game win streak to start the month. Then they got the loss at Minnesota State Mankato, and then they won their last 2 games at North Dakota and against Minnesota Duluth. And there's the standings there, of course. The Mavericks at 7-4, still though ranked 5th in the nation, and still have a great opportunity to do some great things here, even after the end of the season, which will be coming up here shortly. Matter of fact, as this show is being taped, the last regular season game. February has been a so-so month for UNO's hockey team. The Ice Masters finished the month at 4-4-1. They have a tune-up exhibition game with the U.S. National Development Team before the first round of the Central Collegiate Hockey Association playoffs, and that will begin on March 6th. The Mavs stopped a 3-game slide with a win at Mankato on Tuesday, February 26th, the last regular season match. Brandon Ciro won the CCHA Offensive Player of the Week earlier in the month for his 5 points against Bowling Green, including the game-winning score plus 3 assists. Eddie Del Grasso won his second Conference Defensive Player of the Week honor for his play against Ohio State in the second week of February. Here's a look at what the hockey team did You can see that at Michigan State. Big win there, 5-4. Then they dropped a match, and then they tied Ohio State in the first of two, beating Ohio State, and then winning against Bowling Green for 2 straight wins, and then they dropped their last 3 regular season matches. There's the standings in the CCHA. Michigan, of course, leading the pack. It's pretty bunched up there at the top, and that's the top half of the CCHA. Then we get a look at the second half, and of course the Mavericks just 2 games under 500 at 11-13-4. Well, the Wrestlers head into the NCAA Division II North Regionals, ranked number 1 in the nation. Since the last show, Mike Denny's crew they've been featured twice on live broadcast, compliments of the fine people here at UNO TV, and it was shown over the Knowledge Network and NET2. UNO Hall of Fame wrestler Pat Kelly III joined me on the telecast in what were great wrestling matches. In the first of those matches, heavyweight Tony Lewis, ranked 6th, took on Mankato's second-ranked Brady Wilson and won a decision in the third overtime. In the other televised match, Tate Weatherby, filling in for an ill Todd Manili, pinned Northern Iowa's Nick Pickerel after trailing 8-1 with just 1 minute left in the second period. Here's a look at what the top-ranked wrestlers have been doing since our last show. Of course, they took on Central Oklahoma and Nebraska Kearney. Minnesota State, Augustana won them all. And then they hosted Northern Iowa, Division I Northern Iowa, on that last live broadcast, and they fell. But that ended in a great way with Tate Weatherby pinning his opponent after trailing by so many points in the second period. Here's how the Mavericks are in the NCC, and their dual record, they're 3-0. And, of course, Augustana is 0-3. Minnesota State and St. Cloud have won 1 and lost 1 each. As we record this show, the UNO women's track team prepares to defend its North Central Conference Indoor Championship up in Mankato. Freshman sprinter Anya Putz won the 400 at the Prairie Wolf Invitational in Lincoln at the Bob Devaney Indoor Track. Putz ran a 55.77. Molly Belling won the 60-meter title at the USD John Dalton Open with a time of 7.74. And Shanna Brown was the long jump winner, flying 5.65 meters. That's the second best conference distance this year. Kaylin Harris, meanwhile, finished first in the 5,000 meters at the Adidas Classic, running it in 18 minutes, 14.92 seconds. Also in February, Pinar Seca won the NCC Female Track Athlete of the Week for the 3rd straight time at the beginning of the month, and Shanna Brown also was named Athlete of the Week just last week. Here's a look at back at some of the track results at the beginning of the month. There was success there, as we talked about. Then in Ashley Yates winning the triple jump. She was second in the long jump in the Nicely Classic. Then, of course, they had the Adidas Classic, and Pinar did well in that, finishing second in the 200 and 400 meters. We talked about Molly Bell and Shanna Brown in the John Dalton Open with their successes as well. Prairie Wolf Invite was February 22nd, and Anya Putz, as we said, won the 400-meter dash there, leading the Mavericks. So it's been a pretty successful year for the women's track team. UNO's tennis team is unbeaten as of this show. Bill Nichols' squad is 3-0 since its season opener on February 2nd. The Mavs opened the season by sweeping all 6 singles matches. They took 2 of 3 doubles contests against Nebraska Wesleyan. Now, the Mavericks won 10 straight singles sets in that match before dropping their only set of that entire match. Rachel Falk and Kylie Rowe have yet to lose a match in their last match before this show. A redshirt freshman, Jenna Nielsen, grabbed the win at number 6 singles, boosting UNO to a 5-4 win over Graceland. And here's a look at how the first 3 matches of the season have gone for the UNO tennis team. The toughest one, as we said, was on February 22nd against Graceland, where they had to wait for Jenna Nielsen to win her number 6 singles match before they got the win. But sitting at 3-0, they look really good. Well, UNO's baseball season isn't even a week old as of this show. The Mavs opened up with a home doubleheader February 24th against Central Missouri. The Mavericks were supposed to open the season at Regis in Denver on February 22nd, but of course Mother Nature didn't cooperate. And as you can see, UNO split its twin bill with the Mules. Chris Kessinger hurled 5 perfect innings in the win. UNO suffered a 6-run 10th inning as Central Missouri won the nightcap. Well, there's nothing like home field advantage In this case, it's the home water advantage. The swim team wrapped up the final North Central Conference Championship at its home pool in dramatic fashion. It's the second NCC title for the Uno swimmers. The last time they won it was 2005. Uno just happened to host that meet too. This time the Mavs came from behind to win the next to the last event, then hung on in the last event to beat defending champ North Dakota by 1.5 points at the Hyper Building. Uno had a 9.5-point lead going into the final event, which was the 440 freestyle relay. They finished second to UND by 0.06 of a second, but they still took home the championship. The Mavericks ended the final day of the meet 71.5 points behind the Sioux. Coach Todd Samlin won Conference Coach of the Year. Laura Kemp grabbed Freshman of the Year honors, while Newcomer of the Year went to Christy Geminer. Okay, here's a look at back at what's happened so far this month for the Maverick swimmers and divers. They lost at Iowa State at the beginning of the month, and then they won big at Nebraska Kearney the second day of February, and then February 21st through the 24th, of course, they won the NCC championships. So congratulations to the conference champion swimmers. As we said earlier, we'll be talking with Coach Todd Samlin later in the show. Well, you know, we can all look back fondly at the outstanding football season by the Uno Mavericks that they had last year. Sadly, though, the chance for a national championship slipped away here at Al Caniglia Field in the playoffs. Well, Jared Benson takes a look at the 2007 football season and the impact that it has on the 2008 year.
Here are the Mavericks working out after their most successful season since 1954.
Here at the UNO Fieldhouse rests a plaque remembering arguably the most successful team in school history, the 1954 Indians team that went 10-0 and won the Tangerine Bowl. This year's Mavericks attempted to match their success but fell short with a 20-17 loss to Central Washington in the playoffs.
The game began much how the rest of the season had gone, the Mavericks physically dominating their opponents to the tune of a 2-score lead late in the fourth quarter. We caught up with assistant coach Taiwo Anatolu for his take on the final 3 minutes.
A lot of things just kind of went their way. A lot of bad things went our way, like the kickoff return in the last couple minutes of the game. We had a couple guys injured on our kickoff team, so we had some substitutes come in there and who hadn't really done it before all year, and that just one or two players like that can create a gap in that kickoff team, and the guy hit the gap and kind of took it all the way home.
Zach Miller's interception with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left led to this 18-yard Wildcats go-ahead touchdown. The Mavericks charged into Wildcat territory, only to have Miller's third pick ice the game for the Wildcats. Despite a disappointing loss, the Mavericks must regroup and attempt to right their recent playoff woes. For Maverick Sports, I'm Jared Benson.
As the hockey season winds down and the Mavericks look ahead to playoff potential, junior goaltender Jared Kaufman shows us that there are even more important things in life than sports. Here's Ashley LaFay with that story.
February 29th is the Maverick hockey team's last regular season home game. However, the game has special meaning to junior goaltender Jared Kaufman as he plans to honor our fallen and wounded soldiers.
And it's a military appreciation night, just to kind of show our respect and how we feel about the Army and the military. And so we're going to have camo jerseys and then auction them off and giving all the proceeds to supporting Nebraska troops and the Brian T. McDonough Military Heroes Foundation.
Sergeant Brian T. McDonough, a friend of Kaufman's, was killed in December 2006 in Iraq while serving for the U.S. National Guard.
We have an obligation here as a community to express our support for the people who give so much of their lives. The sacrifices our military makes to keep us safe are incredible.
Just overall, it's been great. The people that I've met through doing this that are helping me out with it, it's really just an honor to be able to do something like this.
In addition to the jersey auction, a Nebraska veteran will be dropping the ceremonial puck to begin the team's game against the U.S. National Development Team. And members of the military can also get a discounted ticket at $9 with proof of ID. The puck drops at 7:05 p.m. at Quest Center, Omaha. For Mav Sports, this is Ashley LaFay.
The UNO women's track team has been running hard since early December, and now as they head for the final NCC Conference Championships, Coach Smith thinks his team will do just fine moving to a new conference.
Spring just around the corner, the UNO women's track and field team is hard at work preparing for their final season in the North Central Conference. The women have already competed in 12 meets since their indoor season began in early December. With the conference championships taking place in early March, the runners, jumpers, and throwers are practicing harder than ever before. And although the team is led by only 3 seniors this season, head coach of 2 years, Steve Smith, is still optimistic that his young team will be able to hold their own in the 2008 MIAA Conference.
Well, we've got a young team this year. We're looking forward next year going to the MIAA, the new conference we're going into. We lost last year some really good seniors, and so we've got young girls that they need to get a year or 2 under their belts, and then we'll be ready for that new conference.
Mid-March, the women's track team will switch their focus from indoor to outdoor events. Even though the seasons have changed, one thing remains the same. The women's track team gives 100% at every practice in hopes of landing a spot in the top 8 at the NCAA Championships in May.
We practice every day, we train, we try to stay injury-free, and we just keep improving every week. We have early meets we go to, and we see how they're progressing, and so far they're progressing pretty good. We've had some injuries, but that's to be expected from year to year.
With hard work and determination, the UNO girls track team hope to get off the blocks fast this season and sprint to another successful season. For Mav Sports, I'm Tondo.
Team leaders are usually upper-class student athletes who have the game experience that implies leadership. Sometimes, though, personal qualities take a strong work ethic, and a never-say-die spirit can matter just as much as ball touches. For UNO's women's basketball team, the lack of senior players on the roster gave some girls the chance to stand out. Amy Pfeiffer files this report on the Lady Mavs.
The UNO women's basketball team has had an interesting season this year, with no seniors, 9 juniors, and a sophomore as their captain.
Typically, college athletics have seniors as their leaders because of the experience factor. This is not the case for the UNO women's basketball team, as they defined their leadership qualities not by age, but by other criteria. This has led to sophomore Alyssa Green and junior Ellen Majeski being chosen by the team as the captains.
On and off the floor, I think good academics, always talking, always on your back about stuff, like pushing you constantly, being a good role model. Basically, I think the role our captains on our team play right now, they're great talking to us, they're great leading us through every situation we've been in this year.
Not only are these qualifications important to the team, but Coach Shear also has qualifications she looks for in her captains.
It has been that it's not necessarily that just because you're a senior that you are a great leader. That definitely is not the case. So, we've had great leaders that have been, I think, underclass student athletes, and so, I think that it's possible to have great leadership just because of, the charisma that a particular individual might have.
It's been an interesting season for the women's basketball team with no seniors, 9 juniors, and a sophomore captain. It should be an interesting season next year, watching them build upon each other and having 9 seniors leading the team. From Mav Sports, I'm Amy Pfeiffer.
Even though the calendar still said February and the snow refused to melt, the UNO women's tennis team already hard at work. So where do you play a summer game in the middle of winter? Well, Sean Wasserkrug clues us in with this report.
Well, it's that time of year again. The UNO women's tennis team is underway with their season. Problem is, the Nebraska weather isn't really letting them try to play outside at all. So where exactly do the women's tennis team actually get to practice and play the regular season games? It was actually in this building right behind me in the Hanscom Brandeis Tennis Center. As you can see behind me, the UNO women's tennis team is hard at work practicing to try to keep their undefeated season intact. But just exactly how do the coaches and players feel about playing indoor instead of outdoors?
Preferably, I like to play outside. I kind of like playing when it's really hot out. I don't really know why, just because high school you always play outside, so kind of coming into college it was different for me to play inside most of our season and outside just a couple of times. So I prefer playing outside.
Starting out in the early fall when school starts. There's a couple courts on campus, and when the weather gets inclement, then we come indoors. And we don't have to worry about the weather, whether it's going to rain or be too cold, or so it's very nice. And we can play at times in the evening when people can come out and watch the matches.
And whether it be rain, snow, or shine, the UNO women's tennis team will be here practicing to make sure that they can clinch another conference title. I'm Sean Wassacrew, and this is UNO Sports. Go Mavs!
Great job by everybody on those reports. Well, there's still lots to come on Maverick Sports, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these words.
Your city, your news. The Omaha News, a different perspective on Omaha and its people, presented each week by the UNO School of Communication. The Omaha News, Wednesdays at 4 o'clock on the Knowledge Network.
Maverick fans, visit gomavs.unomaha.edu to keep up on all your favorite Maverick teams, check the schedule, and even buy tickets to the next game. Check it out at gomavs.unomaha.edu. Hi, and welcome back to Maverick Sports. It gives me great pleasure to welcome the North Central Conference Coach of the Year and the head coach of the NCC champion swimming and diving team, Coach Todd Sandlin. Coach, thanks for taking time and joining us here at Maverick
Well, thanks
Sports.
for inviting me. I appreciate it, Tori.
Tell you what a feat. I mean, there's all kinds of emotions involved, of course. Last conference meet in history, or at least in current history. You guys came away, you won it, and you won it in the home pool. I mean, just everything was just right for this to happen.
True. We had just a great swim. Everyone on our team just did a great job. We're really happy with how they did, and the win, our girls really stepped up and they did a fantastic job. But what also helped is we have a very competitive conference, and a lot of people raced really fast that last day.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened is a couple of North Dakota spots got moved down a little bit. And so I kind of look at it not just as a UNO win, but a whole conference win. It was a fantastic meet.
All right, now let's go back to the beginning of the year, and I know what everybody's goals are, but did you really see this on the horizon?
No.
Did you think you could do it?
We didn't really talk about it. We kind of took a different approach, and we took the same approach in 2005 when we won conference, and that was we didn't talk about it. We were just focused on swimming well, do the best we can, and it was going to be pretty difficult because we didn't have any divers, and that's a good 40 points in 2 events, so about 70 to 80 points that we would be down, and that's pretty hard to overcome with such a strong team as North Dakota. But what really helped was just the competitiveness of the whole conference of South Dakota, St. Cloud, Mankato, Moorhead. All those folks had some really good stars that really made a very fast meet and allowed us to hold our own through the meet. So it was an excellent opportunity. It was really North Dakota's meet until the last 2 events, and our girls just swam over the top the last 4 events. And North Dakota didn't quite meet the last 2 events like they did the 2 before that.
Well, the thing that I noticed, let's go back a few days. You come into Sunday, the final day, were you 70 or 71 and a half points behind?
Yeah, 71.
I mean, that's exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Being that far behind. And
well, Tori, we were at 71 points, and I went over and congratulated Coach Mavi on such a fantastic day. Saturday, North Dakota swam just out of their minds. They did a fantastic job, and I was like, man, that's too much of a spread. I thought if we had a 40-point spread, maybe 50, would they be tough? They had a 71-point spread. I was like, we're just going to focus on swimming fast, and then wherever we get, we get. If it's second, that's great. We swam fast the whole meet. I'm proud of my girls. That's the way it goes.
All right, now, when you came into Sunday, I mean, as a head coach, what would your message be to the kids? What did you tell them?
My message was kind of consistent all the way through, that we're swimming fast, and if we want to do any type of damage at all, we have to do it in the morning, because swimming is a prelim final, and you swim in the morning, so that way you can see if you can come back at night. And once you've locked in your spot from the morning swim, you can't move down. You're either top 6, middle 6, or final 6. And the whole point is to swim lights out in the morning so that way you can go for points at night. And they did a fantastic job.
Did you, have you ever coached a group of swimmers like this before? I mean, it almost sounds like, for an outsider, almost sounds like a team of destiny. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just came together, and next thing you know, you guys were there.
Things came in pretty well, and I think just because we had a lot of fun, and that was the focus. A lot of fun, swim fast, and after the first day, when the girls saw how fast they were swimming, they were just caught up in the momentum, and they just kept swimming fast the whole meet. It was great.
Well, I want to congratulate you, and again, thank you for taking time with us here in Maverick
Thanks for inviting me, Tori.
A great year, and congratulations for all the personal awards, too.
Thank you.
All right, Todd Samlin, who is the head swim coach for the swimming and diving team, the North Central Conference champion swimming and diving team. All right, let's take a look ahead as to what's going on, and since we have Coach Samlin here, of course, we can talk about swimming. As you see it there, the NCAA Division II Championships on March 12th through the 15th, and I know your kids are geared for that. There's no question about that, huh?
Yep, we're going in, just going to have fun again.
All right, and we also have track events coming up as well. We'll take a look at the women's track team as we tape this show. The weekend that we tape this, it's the NCC Indoor Championships. They're going to try to defend their championship there. Wrestling, of course, the North Regionals up in Mankato on March 2nd, and then the 14th and 15th, the big one, the NCAA Division II Tournament. Women's basketball, they've got Mankato to wrap up the season, and then they're in the first round of the NCC tournament, as you can see on March 5th. Then for men's basketball, basically the same thing. Same schedule, same guys. Then we'll take a look at hockey. The CCHA playoffs first round here, March 6th through the 9th, and then they have the second round on March 14th and 15th. And take a look at tennis. Of course, they've got those three matches, Missouri Western, Kearney, and Sioux Falls. After tennis, it's baseball. And, of course, the baseball team has already started its season, although they had to fight the weather. They have the Holiday Inn Classic as we tape this show. And then with softball, Pittsburgh State, Kearney, the Western Tournament, and then Emporia on March the 12th. Take a look at replays of today's show. You see them there, Monday, March 3rd at 9:30, Tuesday, March 4th at noon. And then our next program will be Friday, March 28th, 7:30 that evening, Monday, March 31st, 9:30 in the morning, and Tuesday, April 1st at noon. And, of course, we want to thank everybody involved with this show, the production crew, the producers, the editors, the students who provided content. And, of course, I appreciate everyone who's a Maverick fan watching this show. And until next time, I tell you, hang high, the Crimson and Black.